Hey you guys, this is Dragon Invasion. I recorded a few days ago and sort of just compiling it all together. Did take a little bit of editing since I need to speed up through the pickups. Since you have to spin the dice and then you have 30 seconds that you have to show all the pickups and waiting for the next boss. There is probably more just like picking up drops and sitting around waiting for the boss than there was actual fighting. You move through these bosses so quickly now that it's not super eventful. So here, we're going to blow through the early bosses very quickly. So last time I did a Dragon Invasion video, it was defeating boss 18, and I thought that was the last Dragon Invasion video I would do. Boss 19 didn't show up, seemed like that was the end of the dungeon. I had spoken to multiple other players who were beating boss 18, and they were not getting it to show up at all. And so we sort of just left it at that. We're like, okay, there's 18 bosses, that's it, end of Dragon Invasion. And then my buddy Strife, one of his friends, one of his teammates that he runs this with, refreshed after boss 18 and realized that you need to refresh in order to see boss 19 show up. And so from there they could continue. So you only need one person in the team to refresh and click on the boss, and I'll show that later on. Preferably it's going to be the person who can refresh the most quickly, and for this video I ended up doing it just so I could show you guys, but I am on 2 characters right now, so whenever I add on multiple characters, I actually, for whatever reason, the loading is slower. If I'm only on one tune, then usually I can get back in really quickly, but anyway, we manage all right here, but I did not have a particularly fast refresh in this video. Maybe the recording probably didn't help there, but overall, I'm rather quick, so I was a little bit surprised how slow it went, but we'll see that in a bit. I figured, I thought about just doing, like, the last 5, I don't know, like 5 levels, showing those, but I figured I would show all of the footage just so we can see things with the knighthood skills, and I can talk a little bit about those. And so, rage management is really difficult for mages with these new skills. It's just like, you never seem to have enough rage. I always feel like you need like an extra like 5 or so rage with every skill. I think then things would feel really, really good, but it's just always a little bit uncomfortable with the rage management for the mages. I don't know how to explain it. It just never feels good. And so yeah, so I always bring brutality and a rage rune right now, and I try to keep that rage capped off, especially toward the later levels. I tried to lead with a rage rune and then use a skill, one that makes sure that I strike after the kids do, so when I need that little extra bit of damage, that's how I deal with it. But right now I just go ahead and directly use what the hell is that skill called? The 30 rage one, criminal trial. Yeah, that's right. And so, so criminal trial is 30 rage and 530% damage. So it's a very low rage cost, and it deals a lot of damage. And then for evil arrow, the archer, I'm using not multi-shot. Cluster bomb, which is 30 rage and it deals 400% damage. And so they're sort of low rage cost skills, and they strike before the kids. Just get it over with quickly and move on. And so that's how we deal with the early levels for the most part. So now we're going into boss 12 or something. No, 11. And so here I'm using the rage rune and a skill. I think even at boss 11, that's actually unnecessary. I could have just still stuck with directly using criminal trial. This is the first successful attempt where we pick up everything after boss 20. But since then, I think we've gotten a little bit better at it. But yeah, so again, rage management, very difficult on the mages. For the archers, I think it's a little bit easier. I don't know, after this video, I don't bring Chaos Rune on Evil Arrow. Definitely not for the later levels, maybe at the early ones, sure, but I definitely switched to a Rage Rune on him as well at some point. And for the archers, the rage is not as difficult. There, I missed one of my drops, which is silly, but maybe I was just trying to rush or something. And so yeah, for the archers, I think it's a little bit easier. You know, for every crit you can have a chance at gaining rage, and so that helps a little bit. As long as you have a point in one of those passives, it works out a bit better. And so for the archers, eventually towards the later levels, probably very soon, I'm going to start using Fatal Strike on Evil Arrow. So here, going for the Brutality rune since my rage is full. And go with Brutality, and then Cluster Bomb on Evil Arrow. Yeah, that should be plenty. I think later on, eventually just start using Brutality and then Fatal Strike on Evil Arrow, and that is some powerful stuff. Fatal Strike strikes for 680% damage for 80 rage, and that is just a huge single target attack. So the mages have the low cost single target attack that's very powerful, but the archers, the big attack is just that much more powerful. So here's Fatal Strike. I didn't quite check his damage, but there was something that had like a 6 in front of it, and it might have been Arrow's ridiculous hit. I know he can hit for huge numbers, like 50-60 million plus. So depending on my, I don't know what my dimensions look like here, but during Steel Wars week, it's probably not that great. So let's see here, plus 85% damage. I've seen it as high as like 90-something%. So my reduced res is actually not that good right now in this video. It's even better if I have good dimensions, but again, during Steel Wars week, I just don't bother with dimensions that much. So my DPS is actually a little bit worse than it can be right now. And so when I have a lot of rage like this, so if I have like a little over 100 rage, I feel comfortable. I can use Criminal Trial and then use Hell's Requiem, which is 80 rage, and that's a nice little combination because Criminal Trial will strike before the kids and add a 30. No, how much does it add? Yeah, a 30% damage bonus to the boss. So it's 30% and then 40% for each of the Wind Rangers. So that's a lot of added damage for the group. And then I use Hell's Requiem, and it's just like that nice little 1-2 punch. So that's why having a lot of starting rage is very helpful for the mages. But you can only do that so many rounds because eventually, you know, we cleared the boss so quickly that I wasn't able to get my rage rune afterward. So yeah, again, rage management, a little bit difficult. Now getting into Thor on Evil Arrow, you'll see I don't really Sylph here. I don't even know if I ever get into Sylph mode in this video. I like using Evil Arrow's Thor because this Lion's Roar skill deals so much damage. But for me, I just never feel like I deal much in Sylph mode compared to class mode now. Obviously, the class skills for Knighthood are really big, and so I deal a lot of damage. Whereas with Hercules, really the only skill that's worthwhile is the Delphic. And while I'm in class mode, I can't gain rage for the other skills, so I don't know, I don't justify it that easily. So there, I pick up, and then I end up refreshing. So while that's loading, I end up picking up on Evil Arrow. I do this all in real time just so you guys can see how long it takes. I think the refresh takes like over 40 seconds on this one, which is really pretty bad. You want it to be under 30 seconds. And there you see a little shadow on Evil Arrow's screen, which I point out, and so that's like the shadow of boss 19, but you can't actually click on it. So here I get, you know, the cache doesn't load for it, but I can click on the boss once I refresh, and so we manage. It wasn't a good refresh, so really, you know, I'm dual boxing here, so really should be one of the people who's not, but obviously for the video I just wanted to be able to show you guys that it's possible instead of just letting somebody else show it. But here, getting into boss 19, again able to do the little, oh no, I didn't have enough rage for what I wanted to do, but that's okay. Still moving quickly. Again, that Fatal Strike from Evil Arrow is just so big. For the Knights, I'm not as familiar with the skills. I think that's the only class that I haven't really dual boxed or PvP'd or PvE'd with out of the Knighthood setups, and so I can't really speak to that. But I feel like it's very similar. So you know, without Knighthood, the archers, you know, with regular skills, archers are so much faster than all of the other classes. But that really seems to have evened out with the Knighthood skills. All of the Knighthood skills are just sort of that medium pace, where it's not as quick as like a really fast regular set of skills, a skill from the regular set of skills. But they're faster than, like, you know, usually faster than the kids' hits, and they're faster than like a really slow Delphic from the regular set of skills. So here into Thor again on Evil Arrow. And just setting up for one more big hit. Can take out this boss. Just need to wait for the kids to bring up Cursed Arrow again. Got a little more than 30 seconds to work with. So I see the kid Cursed Arrows come back, so I get a big skill ready. Use Lion's Roar on Evil Arrow. Oh, 50 million plus damage. So that is very, very nice. Get the rolls out and do the last of the pickups. Looks like, you know, at one point somebody said, I think Robin said that there were like more hooves at some point, but then I looked back at the drops and it doesn't seem like there was any difference, so I'm not totally sure. But showing the BRs here, the BRs look a little bit low because we're not using our best sylphs or our best or highest BR setups, but there, obviously, this team's still looking very, very strong. Myself at 8.4 million. Arrow's BR is maybe the highest because he has the big sylphs. My BR is actually higher than his if I'm using my best setup, but because his doesn't drop as much for his PvE setup, he's the top dog there, and so yeah, big thanks to the group. Did a really nice job there, and it's been sort of fun to be able to figure this out. And I hope you guys enjoyed and that this helps. I really think that once you have, you know, a group, once, you know, a lot more people are dumping stats into tattoos and getting knighthood, this is actually, I mean, it's not super doable, but very possible for a lot of players. It does require that you reduce your lag and everything. So I'll link in the description the blog post that goes over how to sort of, you know, make things move quickly for your team, explains all the stuff with the Wind Rangers and how to set up your kid, and so I think all of that still applies. And then I'll have another blog post that just applies to explaining how to do how to get Boss 19 and that stuff. So check out all the links in the description, and thanks for watching, you guys. Take care and have a very good day.